Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, it's time!
Yeah, it definitely is time. What's up, everybody? We got a pitching change here. We got a pitching change as
Yeah,
I
we
am
do.
in for Jose Contreras here. My name is Eric Avila. At least the other Contreras brothers here. Ricky, what's up, Ricky?
What's going What's going on, Eric? Nice to see you, man.
Yeah,
How you
good to
doing?
see you too. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun episode today. He's on filling in for
Right.
Jose, which is good. It's great. It's all right. I got you covered. Now I can actually say that I actually have done a show with everybody in the Star Six Media guys. Make sure you follow the Star Six Media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all their social media pages, along with the John Konabi pages too, as well. We got a fun show for you guys today. WWE, AEW, all time on the card for today, and we're also previewing the fight that's happening this Saturday between Javante Davis and Ryan Garcia, which should be an interesting and fun match, or should I say, boxing card on Saturday. I think everybody's more excited about this one. It has been in talks for the last couple months, and how everybody's just patiently waiting for this one. So
Yep.
that's on the lineup for today. Ricky, first and foremost, man, how are you?
Good, bro. Good. I'm just happy to be here to do the show, and also happy to see you. Haven't seen you in a while, and looking forward to do a show with you for the first time. So here we are, man.
Me too. Maybe I think I got the most interesting Contreras on today's show. I could tell you that much for sure. And speaking of
Uh,
the other Contreras, bro, look at that. Look who decides to show up. Look at him. What's up, Jose? Hopefully I can fit in your shoes well, but I'm gonna do my best to fill in. All right, Ricky. Let's start it off right here. Let's start with the WWE rumors that is going around, right? And the main one that's going around is Drew McIntyre, and how there is no terms to his contract. His contract, I think, ended last week. He is out for an undisclosed injury, which means he more than likely is out. Do
right.
you honestly believe that Drew McIntyre is leaving?
Man, I'm 50-50 on that one, man, because there have been talks that he has been upset, creative, or frustrated with the creative direction of his character. Um, and I guess he's also frustrated with the amount of pay because from what I've been hearing, what I've been reading and hearing is that him and WWE are miles apart, far apart as far as agreeing to the money in terms of a new contract. So they're not right there yet with that. But you know, at the same time, he has been, yeah, he definitely is hurt. He's injured. He's gonna take some time off. He has been getting hurt very often during his run in WWE. But he hasn't been missing a significant amount of time. But as far as the creative part, yeah, I could see where he could be. I'm pretty sure he wants to be a little more top at the card. I know during his title reign, that was during the COVID era, which was you know
I know.
very unfair to him, man.
Yeah,
Very unfair, and unfortunate for him.
yeah.
Being
Because
in there with no fans.
right before COVID, he was literally the hottest wrestler at that time, heading into Mania, right?
Yeah,
And I do agree. I think his title run was ruined by COVID. He didn't get to embrace that with the fans how he wanted to, how it really was throughout that time. Oh, but Ricky, why do you think that they haven't come to terms? You said they're miles away, but why do you think they're miles away? Is it just because of his because of his character?
I think that is one issue too. As far as the money, we don't know what he's asking, but WWE is $1 billion company. They just
Yeah.
sold to Endeavor for $9 billion. They got the money to pay this man. And he is a star. He is one of the top guys in the company. You can do a lot with him. So
No,
I
definitely.
mean, I think it is financial, but creative is probably up there as well, close to financial.
Yeah, I think he was also one of the wrestlers too that was very um, unhappy about the announcement of Vince McMahon kind of coming back, and I know that was
Yeah.
heavily rumored too around that time when that has happened. So if he doesn't sign this contract with WWE, obviously there's another alternate route, right? And everybody knows where it's going to in AEW. Can you see him thriving in AEW?
Mm. You know, especially, you know what? As a matter of fact, I was about to say that he might get lost in the shuffle there, but a guy like Drew McIntyre, I don't think so. I think he's gonna get, you know, fast track to the main event scene in AEW. I could see that. But I can also see him also wanting to test the waters elsewhere, like maybe New Japan, maybe even go to Mexico or do Ring of Honor, you know, more smaller promotions, maybe even Impact. But then again, I don't know about that because that's also where he came from when he left the WWE the first time. He made his name in Impact and then came back to WWE. So yeah, I could see him, you know, pretty top, pretty high in the card in AEW. I think.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. I could literally see him being one of the top dogs, especially if you're gonna get him with the last of whatever MJF's contract is gonna be with AEW because his contract expires at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You could see a Drew McIntyre in there, maybe different name. Who knows? I don't know how he has his contract negotiation with WWE about the names rights,
Right.
but I can see him being that top dog and just take over AEW, give him that extra spark that I feel like they're missing as of late in AEW. You
Yeah.
guys are listening to the main event. I'm right here co-hosting, taking place of Jose. Hope not permanently, just for today, with his brother Ricky Contreras. And speaking of
Right.
Jose, he's in the comments says he's someone that will thrive on AEW. WWE needs to lock him up, and I completely agree 100%. He's underused
They
in
do.
WWE. He's a great talent. I love Drew McIntyre. I'm one of his probably like loyal followers because I think what he does in the
Yeah.
ring, off and off, in and out of the ring, and you've seen that in WrestleMania. Any match that you kind of put Drew McIntyre in, it's going to come out really good.
Oh yeah, that match with Gunther and Sheamus was a fucking fight. That was a
Ooh,
fight. That was a brutal. I
that
mean, that
was
was one of my favorite matches. You know.
yeah, and it was always and it was one
So
of the. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I don't. I
Oh,
forgot what
I
I
was
was
about
gonna
to say
say.
it was
Go
one
ahead.
of the matches of WrestleMania, throughout the WrestleMania weekend, and it kind of saved the Sunday night one too as well.
Oh yeah, because it definitely wasn't as good as night one. That's for sure. It almost felt like both nights were booked by two different people. But you know, I
Oh yeah.
digress.
And we're not gonna get into that again, but I
Right.
completely agree with you on that one.
Right. Right.
I know you said as we're moving on here in the main event, I know you said New Japan, right? And speaking of New Japan, Mercedes Monet, aka Sasha Banks, but best known as Snoop Dogg's cousin,
Yep.
she's having her final match in Japan this upcoming weekend or pretty soon. And that's about it. She becomes a free agent. Ricky, where do
Yeah.
you see our girl, my girl, Jose's girl? I know that for sure.
Oh yeah.
In upcoming up, do you see her where she goes next? Does she go to the back to WWE? Does she make her shine in AEW, or does she decide and stay and get the fandom and everybody loves her out in Japan?
Right, right. I definitely don't think she's going back to WWE right now. I think she, especially with the rumors or supposed Vince McMahon being back in creative, or at least
Right.
having some major influence into it. That was one of the main reasons that she left. So I definitely don't see her going back to WWE just yet. Now I won't say that she's probably going to go straight to AEW, although I do think that is eventually that's going to happen. I believe this year, but there is Mexico. There's AAA. There's CMLL. She's a big fan of the Mexican culture. She was over there training with Juventud Guerrero and Conan, so I could definitely see her making some appearances there, and most likely AAA. With the connection with Conan and Juventud. So I can see her over there, man. At least right now, if she decides not to stay in New Japan for right now for the present moment, but definitely AEW. I definitely see her. Maybe sometime around the Forbidden Door pay per view, or even the All In show that's going to be held in Wembley Stadium in London. That's going to be a huge show, or even All Out in Chicago. But she has options, man. She has a lot of options, and she's in demand too.
Oh yeah, she along with if it does happen, Drew McIntyre would probably be the hottest free agents for wrestling, and through all the companies, every company will probably throw all the amount of money. I miss Sasha Banks in the WWE. I think she
Mhm.
was one of those great wrestlers that every match that you kind of put her in, it will always prevail and always be good.
Yeah.
But where personally would you like her to be in? Would you like her to come back to WWE, or would you, or AEW sounds like a better fit for Sasha Banks or Mercedes Monet?
Now, look, I agree with you. I also loved her in WWE. I mean, that's where I came to know her. That's where I was exposed to her. I love her work. I love what she does. I love, she has a great look. She looked great, but the booking of her character for so
Yeah.
many years was always very suspect to me. Like women like Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. Even though Becky Lynch has earned it, she also came from the bottom and became a huge star in WWE when she wasn't really supposed to. But a lot of the spot was given to Charlotte Flair. Um, that's one of Bailey too. So I think Sasha Banks should have been treated better in WWE. She should have been definitely one of the big. They should have treated her as one of the biggest stars that they've had, but unfortunately they didn't do that. So I say that yeah, AEW I think is probably not only I think it's the best place for her only because she also will have the freedom in AEW to go and wrestle in Japan and in Mexico and go where and do whatever she wants. If she wants to do any other like Comic-Con shows, if she wants to do some TV shows, if she wants, she has that option. And in AEW, you're truly an independent contractor, whereas in WWE, they treat you more as an employee, where you sign exclusively with them. So I think right now at this moment, AEW is a good landing spot for her.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, she was in The Mandalorian, right? Like I think the first season of The Mandalorian. So
Yeah,
she has that TV that TV persona, that TV look that everybody kind of in WWE almost has, right? And we're gonna get into somebody else in wrestling who's gonna be the quote unquote next movie superstar. Ricky, real quick, I kind of want to get into this because this got me a little bit excited yesterday.
yeah.
But Trish Stratus, right? Her little mic drop yesterday, and I don't know if you saw it, but I'm not gonna I'm just gonna paraphrase what she said. But she said that she made women's wrestling in the WWE, which she isn't
Mm,
wrong, right? She
right.
said that instead of treating the matches like, oh, this is awesome, they were like, oh, thank you, Trish, and ever since what she did last week in WWE on Raw, losing the tag team titles that Lita and Becky Lynch won, she lost it for them last week. And then she turned on Becky Lynch, which we might see in Backlash WrestleMania probably, or maybe in the later future too as well, if it's not this one. But Trish Stratus, man, do you honestly believe what she said, that she is the reason why women's wrestling is the way it is today?
You know what? I agree with her. I agree with her 100%. Her and Lita, I believe, are the ones
Yeah,
that
100%.
and they were wrestling during the bra and panties era when they, it was mostly like, they were showing supermodels or Playboy models. They would have them on there doing bra and panties matches and stuff like that. They didn't take the wrestling seriously. It was just all eye candy for the fans back then. So they were part of that generation, and they stood out because they were actually very good in the ring. Obviously they were lookers as well, right? But they were also very good in the ring, and
Yeah.
that's what set them apart with a lot of them. So, hey, whether it's true or whether she's saying as part of her heel character, I agree with her no matter what.
Oh, and I love Trish Stratus, where she's going with this heel. I think Trish Stratus being a heel is probably perfect in what the WWE really needs to. Because obviously you have Rhea Ripley, right? Rhea Ripley, she can play the heel, right? Bianca Belair, everybody loves her, right?
Yeah,
And then you
right.
get your everybody here and there, whatever they want to throw in there and whatnot. But Trish Stratus, what she did, she said it's not going to be a nostalgic act, so we're going to see about that. And her being the heel and the way how she did it yesterday in her promo,
Yeah.
absolutely great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. We're going to go in the comment section real quick. Somebody got there. Let me see. Let's start with Jose. I know Jose said that something right here. He said he'll love to see Mercedes Monet at AEW. That's the women's division. Desperately needs someone like her, which I could definitely agree 100%,
Oh yeah, I
or
agree with
someone
that.
with that star power. It's a dub for her if Mercedes Monet, Sasha Banks, Snoop Dogg's cousin, whichever one you want to call her,
Yeah.
want to be there. He also says WWE did her bogus. Her title reigns were always super short, which I agree 100%. I think she won one, if I'm not mistaken, she won one in SummerSlam, but then lost in Survivor Series, and
Yeah.
then won it later on, I think in SmackDown, lost it in WrestleMania. I know that one was to Bianca Belair.
Yeah. At
So
one point she had a losing streak going on at WrestleMania too.
she did. I
She
forgot
did.
about that. You're absolutely right. She did have a losing
Yeah.
streak.
So
So
it's
it's
just like
crazy.
it's just like we were talking about, man. She was always great. I always believed she was the main women star in that company, but creative didn't treat her that way. So I don't blame her for leaving, and if she stays away, I don't blame her either. So there's other options for her.
Yeah, definitely, and especially how she came up in NXT too as well. Like it was just She was the
Okay.
reason kind of I started watching like the NXT women's division when they were all there. They got what caught me into NXT, and then once they went to WWE roster, then I started watching them there. And look at this, our boy CP. CP, what's up, CP? He says Trish is definitely a major part of it because, but remember, her matches consist of bras and panties, like you just said, Ricky. Matches
Yeah.
with her and Stacy Keibler and Lead and Tori, which was, we were little, okay, we were
We
experiencing at that time loving what
we
we saw.
loved that. We'll just say yeah. It was a great time.
Hell yeah, it was definitely. I said Lita definitely helped the women's wrestling in moonsaults. It started with her 100%, and
Yeah.
everything that you kind of see nowadays with the women's wrestling. It's a little bit of an homage to everybody like Trish Stratus, like Lita. So definitely, and I agree with Trish what she said last night. You're listening to the main event here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the Star Six Media Facebook apps and all their social media platforms. Make sure you guys follow Star Six Media on all the social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and also TikTok. All right, as I teased a little earlier, Ricky, Cody Rhodes. But we're not talking about Cody Rhodes, the wrestler.
Hmm.
Cody Rhodes, the movie star. Now, apparently, he's talking to TV and movie executives about him being being the next wrestler to make it into the movies or make it into the big screen and
Right.
TVs like that. There's a rumor out there. I don't know if you know about this, Ricky, but there's a rumor out there of him being the next Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat. How do you feel about Cody Rhodes heading into the big screen?
Well, it's definitely not probably something WWE doesn't want, because they've lost a lot of their top main eventers to Hollywood. The Rock, John Cena, Batista. So probably not something they want to hear, or unless they are behind it and they're supporting them in it. That's a different story. But here's one thing about Cody Rhodes that I'm not sure if you knew, Eric, but he originally wanted to be an actor before he got into pro wrestling.
I did
This
not
was
know that.
this was confirmed by the late great Dusty Rhodes, his father, who always said that he saw his son becoming a big wrestling star, but at the time, Cody wanted to pursue Hollywood. He wanted to pursue a career in Hollywood. So it looks like now is the time that I guess he dedicated himself to wrestling. He became a big name in wrestling, and it looks like it's become I don't want to say a stepping stone, but probably something that'll absolutely like catapult his career in Hollywood. So I'm not surprised that he is wanting to go that route. And I've yet to see his acting chops on the big screen. So before I judge what they are, but has me curious. I'm just interested in seeing that.
100%. And I think some, right? Not everybody, but some like have that persona that if you're good on the mic, there's a good chance you're going to be good in the movie screen on the big screen, right?
Hmm.
I honestly, who I love to see in one of those gangster badass movies is Sheamus. I think Sheamus
Oh,
has that fit,
yeah,
right?
he has that Irish hitman look.
Exactly.
Like yeah. I mean, the dude. I could see it.
Yeah, me too, right? It's like
Yeah.
it fits, right?
He is an
Obviously, there's
actor
a rumor.
himself too. He is an actor
Yeah,
himself too. I think he was in that Turtles movie. I think he was Rocksteady in one of the Turtle movies,
you might
if
be
I'm
right.
not
I don't know. I'll
mistaken.
look that up right now. I'll
Yeah,
look it up right now. But I think somewhere around there, you're right.
yeah,
You know, Roman Reigns is another one that everybody's just speculating out there that he's going to be the next TV movie star, whatever.
yeah.
Once his 1,000 days is over, which we're going to get into a little later on too as well. But if you're good on the mic, you're more than likely going to be good, on the TV and movie screen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see that with Cody. I don't know, something about Cody Rhodes. I don't know if it's the way how he's like, what do you want to talk about, LA, or what do you want?
It's
It just seems very. I don't know, like he's forcing the on mic, his mic skills, and
yeah,
then obviously the rumors when he was feuding with Roman Reigns before WrestleMania, talk about how it's all scripted,
yeah,
and I get it. Movies are all scripted, right? TVs are scripted, TV shows and whatnot, they're scripted, so he may be good on that part. He'll know his lines like this. I don't know how he be doing well on improvising since he doesn't do it.
right.
Um, and I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you feel this way, Ricky, but
I probably do. I probably do. I think I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
like the way he speaks that list kind of kills it for me, bro. Like I can't take him serious.
I
Like and
can't,
now
bro.
him being in Johnny as Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat,
He was
I could
never
just
my
see him.
first choice for Johnny Cage, man.
He's
Never.
not my first choice either.
Never thought of him being Johnny Cage.
And Johnny Cage needs to be smaller. What's Cody Rhodes like 6'3", 6'4"?
Somewhere around there,
Like
yeah.
just imagine him doing the little split and just hit like it's just I don't it's just gonna be so awkward. But
I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of his promos. I do know that he does workshop his promos. That it has come out about him. Um, for me, they're too long-winded. He talks way too much before getting to the actual point. That's just that's my opinion of it. I've never been a big fan of his promos, and
no.
almost sounds disingenuous at times.
And like I said, sometimes they sound forced. Like
Yeah,
he's forcing the content. And I get it. He has oop, that's me. He has his moments, right?
right.
Obviously he has that once when if you lose, Jimmy will fall, Jay will fall, Solo will fall. Like he has his moments on ring with the on mic talent, right?
Yeah,
But I think that's something that if he builds it later on, like if he does it right now, no, I don't see it. He doesn't have that cocky. I'm the shit. I'm this guy. What Johnny Cage is in Mortal Kombat. Like I don't see that in
yeah,
Cody Rhodes. I think there's somebody better off like that.
yeah.
Somebody, who'd be better like that?
Cool.
MJF. I think he'd be the
MJ.
perfect Johnny Cage. I think I
But
think him that's his role right there. Now he's a little bit bulkier than Johnny Cage. I'll give you that one. Right as we're
right.
talking about Mortal Kombat and all this, but I think he's his attitude, his persona fits Johnny Cage.
Well, yeah, that definitely does. Yeah, and I don't know if you heard this, but these were early rumors that apparently the Miz wanted to do Johnny Cage. Could you see that?
No. The persona, the personality, that yes, I get that. That's perfectly. But again, Johnny,
Yeah,
he's too buff. He's too kind of like the
yeah,
Miz kind of.
and he
Oh
doesn't have the physique of.
no, he
And it's
does
funny we're
not.
talking about MJF and Miz when people compare the two a lot sometimes.
They do. As we're going back into the comments, CP goes back. Sasha and Charlotte got the women's division going when it was dying 2015, 2018. I hate the way WWE handled Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, Snoop Dogg's cousin, whatever you want to go. Jose said he doesn't know if he has the Johnny Cage personality. We're talking about Cody Rhodes on that one. He does have the look. He believes that he does have that Johnny Cage look. I can see it just a smidge, but this person fits it. And I love this comment from Jose, and I think I agree with him 110% on this person. Austin Theory fits Johnny Cage.
Austin Theory, I think I could see that a lot better than Cody Rhodes.
Way better than Cody Rhodes. I mean, way better than MJF. He has the physique. He's not that big. He's very agile. I can see that. That one fits. That one fits a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
Cody Rhodes is more of like a politically correct company man, type of personality. I don't think he could be outwardly arrogant. We don't know how he is in real life, but outwardly, like in public, I don't know if he can do it. I don't think he can pull it off.
I mean, we're just seeing Cody Rhodes right now as the other version of him, the psychotic, getting angry, getting mad, where you have to have 45,000 security guards just holding him back just to not him to attack Brock Lesnar and whatnot. Like we're seeing something different from Cody, which we as WWE fans haven't really like kind of seen it for a while, and we don't know if we're gonna see that Cody Rhodes for a while, and we just have to marinate that with him just to see if he could fit any
Yeah.
other different personalities. Like I know he did the what was it? What was it that Stardust, right?
Yeah.
Was that the one?
But before he left WWE, yeah, he was Stardust.
And
And
that was
he
more
hated
like
it. He hated it. Yeah.
yeah. I hated it too. I didn't really like it, and I get it. The dad,
Yeah.
his brother, Goldust, and I get where they were going with that one, but
Yeah.
it just didn't fit Cody.
And
Like this, like how you said, politically correct, this nice, tied up guy, the way
like a
how he present
politician,
himself.
yeah. Yeah.
This fits him. He looks like that person. Johnny
Yeah.
Cage,
Yeah,
that's a whole
nah,
different
that's
personality, man.
different.
Whole
And you
different
know, and
personality.
then, and you know, in AEW before Cody left, the fans were booing the hell out of. They were booing him out of the building, and they
Ah,
were just
ooh.
they were just begging him to turn heel, and he refused. He refused all the way to the end till he left. So we could have seen what a Cody, I mean, a heel Cody Rhodes would have been. The seeds were there in AEW, and he just flat out refused, and he left. So that was a what if.
Yeah, and I feel like we need to see that more. We love him right now as a babyface.
Mhm.
Let him be a babyface for a while. Let him see how he is. Let him see how he is as a heel. Jose says a heel Cody would be fire, and I think and that would be.
I wonder how that looks like. I'm
I do too.
I wonder how, because I don't know. I can't see him. Just like we can't see him playing the Johnny Cage character. I can't see him cocky, arrogant. I wonder what a heel Cody Rhodes would actually be. That right there is interesting. Very interesting to me.
It's super interesting because now we'll have somebody of that stature that you've built up as this baby face, and all of a sudden everybody will hate him. I
Right,
mean,
right.
Roman Reigns has done a fantastic job, but let's really think about that one though. Is Roman Reigns really a heel? Because he's kind of like everybody's favorite heel. You know what I mean? And for
Yeah,
somebody to be a heel, like Austin Theory, like that's a heel. Like that
yeah,
person is everybody will hate him.
yeah,
Do you
man.
honestly would think that Cody Rhodes would be that type of heel? Like, would it be more of an Austin Theory heel or more of a Roman Reigns heel?
Probably more of an Austin Theory heel. I could see that, because like with Roman Reigns, everybody's wanting to turn him heel for the longest time, and when he finally did it, it's because he has that look. He looks like a badass. He looks like he can murder anybody in the ring. So for him to come out, the tribal chief, and just have this badass persona, it's one of those cool heels that you love to hate and hate to love, right?
Yeah.
Cody, I think would falls more into like an Austin Theory heel, where people will boo him and will probably just be sick of him at the same time. Like, dude, like, somebody please kick this dude's ass. Put humble him, whatever. Like that kind of heel.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I got into AEW a little bit late, so I really didn't get a chance to see that version of what Jose is always says. That he was a heel when he started in AEW. After he wrestled his brother the night he smashed Triple H's throne, he turned babyface
Baby,
after that match. So I think we need to see Cody Rhodes for a long period of time as a little bit of both, right? But I think we need him more to see if he's a heel, just so he can explore other different options. Speaking of other different options, you guys are listening to the JC. I'm sorry, JCA. Look at me, the main event here on
that's all right.
Facebook,
All
YouTube,
right, you
Twitter,
get
and
you
Twitch.
get a pass. This isn't your main show. You get a pass.
Sorry, man. I'm just used to saying that, but yeah, you guys are watching the main event here on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. That's Ricky Contreras. I'm Eric Avila, filling in for Jose Contreras, who's also on the comments too as well. Make sure you guys follow Star Six Media and all the other shows that we have on under the Star Six Media app. Just like Only Football. Here's a little clip.
What's up, everybody? It's Kyle.
And I'm Rick, and welcome to Only Football, where we talk about everything going on in the NFL. You can catch our live streams on Mondays for trivia and Q&A, Thursdays for news around the league, as well as episodes of Only Football with Kyle that you can catch on Instagram and YouTube every Wednesday.
Follow us to keep up with the latest football news, trades, off-season rumors, and our favorite conspiracies here on Only Football. See ya!
See ya!
And you'll get to, like you said, you get to see him every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Only Football here on the Star Six Media social media
Yep.
platforms. All right, Ricky. Looks like Roman Reigns' next title defense, as we were talking about him a little earlier, will be at the Clash of Champions. The pay-per-view will be in Saudi Arabia.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. Something about that is he'll reach the 1,000 days that we all knew was coming. He'll reach it on that day on that pay-per-view matchup. Let's go. Let's do the simple question. Who should be his opponent for that match?
That's tough, man. It's obviously not going to be Cody. It could. I mean, it could be anybody that. I mean, I was gonna say Jay, but I think it's a little early for Jay Uso. For that story to start building. Um,
Yeah, that's a SummerSlam one.
that might be a SummerSlam one. That's tough, man. It really is tough, because I can't think of anybody right now that he could face at that pay per view. It could be Sami Zayn. They could revisit that, or even Kevin Owens. But or even a returning Randy Orton, whenever he, because whenever he's ready to challenge for the title. That could be, he's obviously going to come back as a babyface. So that, that's an option. But you got me there, man. What do you think?
Again, you're right. It's tough, right? Because this is what happens when you don't make Cody Rhodes the champion, right? Now you're facing this dilemma. Like, all right, who's gonna be next? And you roll down the list. He did this guy. Fought this one. He already matched with this one. This match has already happened. My I agree with you, the Randy Orton, right? I think the Randy Orton one kind of sounds like it should be the way to go, right? Especially if we want to make him a baby face.
Right. Especially too that they originally were supposed to face last year in SummerSlam before Randy Orton had to go
Yeah,
away with his back injury. So that's an easy route for them to go.
it is. I would again because you're basically revisiting everything that you've already done, right?
Mhm.
I will even go as far as Seth Rollins. I
Yeah.
think Seth Rollins would probably like what we have, especially yesterday's match that he had with why am I blanking? Who did he had his match with yesterday that was really, really good? Um
Yeah.
The Miz. I think
Uh-huh.
it was The Miz. I forgot. It's not coming to me, but I think Seth Rollins just you kind of need to put him back on because Seth Rollins is the guy that you need to put a belt around, man. Like what he's been doing lately. I think Seth freaking Rollins is
Yeah.
is is going to be great, and I think you need him to make that title run again. Whether if you do it with the United States champion, whether if you go, intercontinental champion, hell,
Right.
man, put him back on top of that card again with Seth in for the Universal champion. But it's Seth Rollins, and you need to bring him back up to that level where
Right.
he's already
But I
belt
will say this
worthy.
though. I will say this though, Eric. Because me and my brother did talk about it last week on the show, how he was, saying that he wants to be at the top of the card. He wants, that he has a little heat with Cody Rhodes, legit, with all, because he feels like he deserves to be in that spot. So say if we do give him this, they do give him the match with Roman, but then Roman's gonna win, or at least that's what I
Yeah,
think. You beat Seth Rollins again. What does that do for Seth Rollins though? Like, okay, we put you back on the spot, but then you get beat, or they go to a disqualification, which I don't I hope that doesn't happen because that's not a good result either. But you know what what would that do to Seth Rollins?
yeah. But at the same time, like I think if you be like, because let's be honest, his match against Logan Paul was great. The one that
Mhm.
we talked about yesterday that I can't think of like who he had. Even the elimination chamber that got interrupted by Logan Paul. And then that was a good one too as well. Like Seth Rollins can give you that type of match
Yeah.
to where like anything that he does will most likely strike gold. And I think that's where you kind of like start to like prep him up and then whatever's next. Because we know Gunther's not gonna he's not gonna be intercontinental champion for long, right? I
Right.
think Jose says right here there might be, but there might be an angle with Jay there, and I do agree. I think maybe somewhere in between Backlash, WrestleMania, and Clash of Champions. I think somewhere in between there, the bloodline will probably start separating, or the crack that everybody seems to think that it's happening through the bloodline. Because remember, if you saw that promo, Paul Heyman wasn't really directing what he said to Sammy and to Kevin Owens.
I know. Yeah, I know where you're going. Yep.
So, maybe, just
He,
maybe,
it's
the
starting to crack.
cousin, the brother, Solo Sokoa might do a little something that Roman might do to the Usos.
Right? Or order the hitman Sokoa to you know, take out
Exactly.
one or both of his brothers, mostly Jay, mostly Jay. This whole thing started with Jay. So they're obviously going to revisit this. I'm wondering if they're going to do it this soon or they're going to keep dragging it out. That remains to be seen.
I feel like, to me personally, I think Jay and Roman Reigns, and I feel like Roman is probably going to take this title reign all the way up to SummerSlam, to where I feel he'll drop the titles. And I've always said this, and I'm a big believer in this one, that it started with Jay, it should end with Jay.
Hmm.
And you can either do it at the Clash of Champions or extend it for another what, 4 more months at SummerSlam, and give them that war, that upbringing that everybody wants, and it'll just
Right.
be main event Jay versus Roman Reigns, and then you start going in many different directions after that. I think that would be a good one right there.
It would be, yeah.
Jose says they're just already planting the seeds that the Usos are being shunned, which is true. I honestly I believe that one too as well. And look who decided to come on in the comments. Jonathan Plio saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, fellas? What's up,
What's
Johnny
up? What's up,
Blasphemy,
John?
Johnny Parlay,
Good
Johnny."
to hear from you.
Yeah, Johnny, everything. You can see Johnny tomorrow with us here on the JCA Sports Podcast as we're going to go live tomorrow night here on Star 6 Media and also the John Konami Facebook page. But yeah, it's difficult, and this is where we come to this problem, Ricky, where him winning at WrestleMania, doing the 1,000 days,
Yeah,
it just everything seems to be recycled and trying to get used all over again because you want him to be champion for over 1,000 days.
yeah, yeah, and you're right. It just makes things a lot more difficult. Because now as we talk about here, who should challenge him next? It's not that easy to say. There are a couple guys that we could say, but this is the kind of you know, the what's the word I'm looking for? It's like they're running into a wall with this one. I don't know if that's the right term, but like they're like they need to come up with better ideas, with better challenges, to make this story more intriguing with the bloodline. And the only thing I can think of is Jay Uso, who would eventually challenge him. I don't know if he would beat him. I don't know if the current plan is still for Cody Rhodes to make his way back to Roman Reigns and then eventually take the title. And if you ask me, you know, as much as I would want it to happen in SummerSlam, I get the feeling that they might even extend this all the way to WrestleMania 40, because with a title reign like Roman Reigns, I know with a title reign like Roman Reigns going 1,000 days and whatnot, and this historic reign that he's on, what better platform, or at least in their mind, what better platform would it be for him to finally lose than WrestleMania 40 in their minds?
I get it. The WrestleMania moment that everybody basically dreams of, right? When they become a professional wrestler, especially when they go into the WWE, you want that WrestleMania moment, right? Obviously, we talked about Drew McIntyre, who had it, but not really, right? You can think of Bianca Belair and many other uh, wrestlers that had their moment, right? You're absolutely right. You have this over for 1,000 plus. It's going to be 1,200 plus days at that time from here to WrestleMania 40. If it does extend over 1,000 days, but and you're right, but it doesn't necessarily, to me, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, right? It doesn't
Doesn't no.
necessarily have to be a WrestleMania moment. And I get it. You were right. Everything that you just said, Ricky, is absolutely correct. 100% that something like this deserves to end at WrestleMania because it's the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah.
But it also gives you that SummerSlam vibes too as well. There's nothing wrong. SummerSlam is the next biggest thing that WWE has. That's like a mini WrestleMania that it's at a football stadium, and the same 80, 40, 50, 60,000 people are there. It's the same vibe. It's the summer event, right?
Right.
And something like that can also deserve a SummerSlam moment, even though that's not really a thing, but it's
Right.
something that you give, a SummerSlam moment, because you also seen some title exchanges at SummerSlam too as well. It'll be
Mhm.
huge. It'll probably be the biggest thing at SummerSlam to ever happen in WWE history.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. I just would not doubt these people, in charge of WWE, to extend this all the way to WrestleMania. I would not be shocked at the very least I would not be shocked if they go that route.
And you're
But
absolutely right. Like,
here hoping that SummerSlam is the day.
yeah,
Here's hoping.
same, because I don't think I could do another 200, 100, whatever days it is from there to
They
WrestleMania
they
with
they,
Roman
they gotta
Reigns.
they gotta make it very, very compelling for the next year.
Exactly.
Before people start to tune out and be like, okay, this is getting repetitive, boring. Roman Reigns sucks again, and blah blah blah.
Bro, it's starting to be the memes. Like, I'm the soccer guy, right? Talking about the Champions League final 2022, and you hear 1, 2, 3, and then you hear Roman Reigns song
Yeah.
in the background there. You're just like,
Yeah.
it just happens to be that way. But yeah, you know what? I just let's just hope SummerSlam is the way. And the Clash of Champions, obviously, it doesn't matter who it's going to be. It's going to be Roman plus 1,000 after that, and we're
Oh
heading
yeah.
into SummerSlam, finding a new storyline on who's going to be. It may be Jey Uso. They may revisit the Sami Zayn one once again because he
And
deserves the WrestleMania moment, even though he got as a tag team.
and you know what? And you know what? Just because it's Saudi Arabia, it can even be Goldberg. just because if the Saudi prince wants Goldberg back, Goldberg will come.
Oh, dude, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that because I would be so upset if that does happen. Like, really? Like, you might as well just give that shit to Brock Lesnar then. Yeah, if that's what the way it
Right.
was.
Hey, Paul, we'll get Goldberg. Okay, pal. Goldberg. Just say it was your idea, pal.
And the messed up part about what you just said, I can see it happening. Like that's so WWE.
Just say it was your idea, Paul. Okay, pal.
And then everybody would be like, but then see if that does happen, and it was like, nah, that's Vince McMahon. It's not Paul. It's not Paul. And then we're gonna have all this talk again, like how it's not really. You see, it was never Triple H's creative. It was always Vince McMahon. Yada yada, and it's just gonna be like, how they're gonna dig themselves out of that one. I don't know, but I can definitely see that happen. John said here that he Roman should have lost at WrestleMania. He actually watched the second day. He will hate that. Your brother say he'll hate that too. You know, he better now have it until WrestleMania. So I don't know. This is where the slippery slope of the WWE, which is coming to an end right now. That we're finishing. We're wrapping up, not coming to an end, but wrapping up WWE conversation here in the main event. This is what happens when this storyline that you wanted to start from the beginning sounded great at first, but then when you realize the amount of wrestler, the amount of talent that you have on the roster, it becomes repetitive, and you're recycling it.
He's beating them all.
Doesn't sound.
He's beating them all already. So now he's gonna do the rounds. You know.
Yep.
I mean, you can't do Brock again. You can't do. You know. I mean, Drew McIntyre's out of the picture for now, at least. I mean, who's there?
Give me CM Punk back.
Wrong company.
Wrong company, but we're definitely talking about CM Punk though on this one, as he's coming back to AEW. At least that's the rumor going out there that CM Punk and Chris Jericho are going to meet for him to come back to AEW. Ricky, simple question: is that a smart move for AEW to bring him back?
Yes, because right now AEW could use him back to gain more of interest in the company again, bring back the buzz, and shoot up the ratings back for Dynamite, and for Rampage, and then for this new show that we'll talk about in a minute that they're gonna come up with. But as far as the locker room, man, this whole idea of a civil war, what it seems like is gonna happen, just so that they can keep guys that don't like each other away. I don't like the idea. I don't think it's gonna end up working in the end. But as far as for business, CM Punk is good for business, and yes, he should bring him back for that reason alone, I guess.
For that reason alone, right? And I think CM Punk at one of, if not, I mean, to me personally, is one of the greatest on mic, performers out there. I think what he does on the mic is absolutely great. He hits you personally, and then he'll do everything to manipulate you and just makes you just go out of character. And I love that about CM Punk when he was WWE, right? And when he was in AEW, I'm not gonna lie, I watched. Okay, I watched when CM Punk was in AEW because I just loved, not only because he was from Chicago, but the fact that how he was, in the ring as a performer and as on mic talent. I think CM Punk is one of the greatest. I'm not saying the greatest, but one of the greatest guys to ever put on a show on the mic and on the mat.
His segments were just different in AEW. If I just say
they were.
It was almost must see.
Yeah, I felt like he was a little bit more loose. He was a little bit more him.
Yeah,
like you saw the Chicago in him.
Yeah. And then it was 100% him, whether good or bad. It was always interesting and always fun to watch. Because you never know what's gonna come out of his mouth. What he's gonna say, what personal thing he's gonna say about his opponent in the ring, and it's just gonna, it just drums up a lot of interest.
Oh, it does. It does, and I think that's what everybody that followed CM Punk throughout his career enjoyed about him, because he will be that guy to like legit poke the bear, and it's not with a stick. Nah, it's with a with a damn 2x4, and he's poking you with it. That's CM Punk.
Yeah, that's a good analogy right there.
But if you do see him back, right? Can you see him can you see a feud with the Elite? Like, is that something you're going to see down the future if he does?
Well, that is what he wants. He has said that he's been open to wanting to do a feud with Kenny Omega with the Young Bucks. The only problem is that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks don't seem very keen on it. They seem like they want to avoid CM Punk. Like they don't want to do business with him. And that's where this whole new show that's coming up on Saturday, where it's almost like a little mini draft of sorts in AEW, kind of like how Raw and SmackDown is in WWE,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of unofficially, only more so like backstage where they want to keep certain guys away. But if they do come to terms to agree to a feud between CM Punk and say FTR, who are his best buddies against the Elite, I mean that is just a license to print money right there for as far as pay-per-view for AEW. I mean, everybody knows what happened at the scrum in Chicago at All Out last year.
Yep.
The real life fight that they had backstage after he just went on a fucking
On
a
a
verbal
tear.
a verbal tirade on the Elite and guys in AEW. So that's just a license to print money as far as like pay-per-view buys for Tony Khan. It's just it just makes sense. But both teams have to play ball here.
No, 100%. And I think anything with that, right? And if the rumors are true, right, he will make his, I guess, in-ring or on-ring performance back when it's on here. What's the one that's going to be here in Chicago where they want him to come back?
All Out.
All Out.
Actually, no. There's going to be a Dynamite in June. That's going to be at the Wintrust Arena, and that's
the
where
one.
that's the rumor. The rumor date where supposedly he might return on that day.
So it's like it's right around the corner, believe it or not, right? We're
Yeah.
already in the middle of April, almost in the end of April, right? May is right around the corner, and it's close. But the one question that Jose has here, I don't know what he means by this, so elaborate what he means by this question. But does he bite his tongue going forward?
Come on, this is CM Punk. He's not gonna bite his tongue. He's not gonna hold anything back. I don't even think he even apologized
I don't think he
to
did.
Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
I don't think he did either.
I don't think he did. No, because then it would just be a watered down CM Punk if he had to bite his tongue. So the only way this is gonna work is that he is in agreement. Look, that's like I said before, CM Punk, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, they don't have to be best friends, right? They don't have to hang out after the shows, all right? They don't have to visit each other, they don't have to be on the Christmas cards or whatever, right? Right? But they have to be willing to work together and they have to agree, right? On terms and everything like that. Like, hey, I'm gonna say this and that, I'm gonna make this personal. I want to drum up interest. All right, so don't take it personal. This is just business. That's all he has to do. That's all, all guys involved have to do, to make very compelling television and drum up a lot of interest into a pay-per-view. So that's all he has to do. But as far as biting his tongue and holding back, that ain't happening.
but even then, so even by doing that, it's something like a lot, because the moment it does go personal, it's not gonna go right, because again, like you said, it's the feud that they have against each other. So like if it gets personal, well, it's gonna get personal, and somebody's mama's gonna get hurt.
Right. But then again, he doesn't want. I mean, you would think he'd want it back, but he at the same time he doesn't. All you got to mention is Colt Cabana, and he'd be like, "What the fuck?" Look, that was you empty-headed dumb fuck, Hangman Adam Page. Why you bring that up?
For real.
He the Colt Cabana. I'm not sure if you're aware, but they have history, lawsuits and this and this. So yeah, it's pretty ugly between those two. They used to be best friends.
I just miss CM Punk, man. Anywhere, I think he'll do great. It'll make me be intrigued a little bit more with AEW, because don't get me wrong, MJF is great, but I personally find him a tad bit annoying, just a tad bit. Like
who, MJF or CM Punk?
MJF.
Well, then he's doing his job, Eric.
He's doing his job, isn't he?
He's doing his job. He's doing his job. He wants to be that annoying prick that you either want to see him get his ass kicked, you want to put in his place. Yeah.
This guy, when you talk about in-ring talent, yeah, you can't deny it. MJF has it. He has it. It's just the persona that.
Yeah, and then not to mention the Chris Jericho thing when we were talking about That
Yep.
could end up being his first feud in his return in AEW.
Which is somebody that I guess you can trust and who's been there and give him his little confidence that you kind of really need after being away for so long.
Yeah.
It just, yeah. You could kind of see that with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and here's the thing, they don't like each other either. You
Yeah,
know, Chris Jericho.
I forgot about that too. Should have mentioned they don't like each other. Hey, CM Punk just rubs everybody the wrong way, doesn't
Yeah. Yeah, he does. But here's the thing, man. Chris Jericho's a pro. You know,
he? Yeah,
he doesn't
that's
have
a
to
pro's
like.
pro.
Yeah, he said it before in many interviews. I think recently that they've asked him, "Are you and CM Punk friends?" Like, no, we're not friends. But neither was I and Scott Hall. Neither was I and Eric Bischoff or Goldberg. We weren't friends, but we did business. We worked. We can coexist. So that shows the kind of pro Chris Jericho is.
Anything for the company, anything for the views, and
Yeah.
anything for it not to look like a complete shit show because you really don't like that person. I
No.
get it. Now you got to give kudos where kudos is given for Chris Jericho and what he's done professionally throughout his whole entire career.
Yeah.
The main event here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the John Conavi and also the Star 6 Media app. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram under the Star 6 Media platform. And also just hit the little bell to get notified when all our episodes are live. Not just the main event, but also the JCA Sports Podcast, the EAFP, Only Football, Slot Shot, 3 Up, 3 Down, and many, many more other shows that we have under the Star 6 Media platform. As we're wrapping up the main event, we want our last segment. I think this is the fight that everybody was kind of excited. Not kind of. Everybody's excited to watch, right? It's going to happen this weekend, this Saturday. Between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan. I'm not going to say his. I don't think he is, and Ryan Garcia.
King
is
Ryan
gonna be
Garcia,
on
you
Saturday.
mean?
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I have a personal reason why I don't want to say it.
Okay.
But this is the fight that everybody's more excited to see. That's not named Canelo Alvarez. That's not named Benavidez Triple G. This one's actually just the main important one that everybody just, because it's two guys that let's be completely honest. I think they haven't really fought anybody to their potential, right?
Right.
To anybody that almost is as in their ring talent, to elevate their to the next level. I think we're finally going to see this on Saturday between these two guys.
Yeah.
Give us your preview. What do you think? How do you feel like this match is going to go down on Saturday?
Man, because see, here's the thing with Gervonta Davis, man. We all know he has a lot of power in his hands, right? So does Ryan Garcia, but he has that really swift, like that really quick left hook that sometimes we don't even see when he lands it, right? It's just that quick. Now, the thing what I see happening in this fight is that, look, Garcia obviously has the height advantage, the reach advantage, and probably the speed advantage, right? Gervonta Davis, though, I think he is more of a patient fighter, and I think he has a lot of really good ring IQ when he's in there, and he's trying to figure out his opponent. He takes his time a little bit. Even sometimes he might even go, on with certain fighters in the past, he has gone a little like going for the knockout, right? Like getting a little reckless trying to go for the knockout. But I don't believe he's going to do that in this fight. I think he respects Garcia and his skills and the threat that's there, and I think that he will take his time and try to figure him out. But he could end up getting tagged while trying to do that, because again, Garcia's left hook is very quick, very 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 fast. But I don't know, man. This is going to be a very intriguing, interesting fight, and I think in the end, I think Davis comes out with a knockout in the later rounds. I predict a Tank Davis win in this fight.
Okay, all right, interesting. I like where you're going. I know somebody's not gonna like that in the comments. I know
Oh no,
somebody.
no, of course not.
I know somebody out there that commented a little earlier is a big Ryan Garcia
Yeah.
fan. John,
Here's the thing. This is why I say too, because again, I forgot to mention this. Davis has a high guard. He keeps his hands up high. All right.
Yeah.
He has really good defense. Garcia is not really known for his defense. He's really more known for his offense. All right. He is a tall guy. He stands up. His chin is up. Is up a little bit. His defense is a little suspect, I will say, about Garcia.
Mhm.
So that's the only reason why I think that Davis could catch him coming in. But as we've seen before, if Garcia is able to connect with the left hook as fast as as fast as he's connected it before, then I could see him getting a knockout win against Gervonta Davis. But I just think that Davis is eventually going to come out the victor in the end after taking his time.
Yeah, in a big fight like this, right, and especially like I said before, they're finally meeting, they're finally fighting someone up to their standards, right?
Right.
What's Ryan Garcia 23-0,
Yeah.
right? I think that's his record, and while Tank is 28-0, right? Again, it's you're right. Ryan Garcia has him by the reach. I think he has him by I think the last Ryan Garcia match that I saw, I think he's like a 70-inch reach, while Tank is
Yeah.
67, 66, something like that.
Right.
Height advantage, you already know. Ryan Garcia looks pretty taller than him. You've seen him when they were face to face when they were coming for the card for this match.
He's a big lightweight.
Very big lightweight, right?
Yeah.
And it's again, age in boxing to me doesn't make a difference, right? I think that's a number that just gets thrown out the window because you can be 38 and still be quick, just like you can
Yeah.
be 24 and you can match up with a 38-year-old. But you're right, man. Look, there's a reason why out of the 28 wins that Tank has, 26 of them are knockouts, right?
Yeah.
He's a powerful puncher, dude.
Yeah.
He's all in the fist. You're right. He's very patient. He uses in most of his fights. He has fought guys that are slightly taller than him, right? He
Right.
has fought guys that have Ryan Garcia's numbers, but I'm not talking about talent wise. I'm talking about numbers, and he's taking care of business.
Yeah.
You're right, Ryan Garcia. I do see him a little light on defensive line. He gets a little flat-footed from time to time. I think it wasn't the last matchup that he had, but the one previous, where you kind of could tell Ryan Garcia you could see his deficiencies kind of getting into him.
Yeah.
But he does rely a lot on his hand speed, and nobody has faster hands than this guy.
Yeah.
I've
Absolutely.
never seen hands that fast in my life.
Me neither.
And you're right. There was a video that was like when this match was announced a couple months back of a video of Ryan Garcia just handling
Yeah.
this guy in the corner up against the ropes,
Yeah.
and
I think it was
also you see him get knocked out.
Yeah, I
And
think it
if
was
you slow it
Javier
down-
Fortuna. This fight against
Yeah.
Javier Fortuna. Yeah. You just
And
see him go down, and like what happened here? And then they show the slow
Slow it
motion.
down.
It connected, and they got in there. Like, whoa, did not see that. That's
just-
just the kind of threat. That's the kind of threat that he poses against a guy like Tank Davis.
Yeah, I know. And again, it's one of those situations, man, where it's just kind of like it could go either way, right? It could either go Tank Davis, like you said.
I see
being
Garcia.
patient.
I see Garcia winning the early rounds. I definitely see
too.
that. I think
I do
because
too.
I think he'll be able to see Gervonta coming in because of that, the distance that he has, the the height and the arm length. I think he will be able to catch Davis with some combinations here and there during the early rounds. But as the rounds go on, I can see Davis figuring them out, figuring out, how does, just moving around, just like trying to figure out, what's his tendencies, how's he going to come in. And I eventually think he'll end up catching him coming in. Just like how he, I don't know, like how he caught Rolly Romero in his last fight,
Yep.
or his last two fights. When he caught him in and just knocked him out. Rolly Romero looked pretty good in that fight early on with his right hand, but eventually he caught him. So that's sort of like a typical Davis fight right there. He kind of starts a little slow. He figures out his opponents, and he might lose the earlier rounds, but eventually he catches his guy.
Yeah, and I could see in a type of way where he uses his height as advantage, knowing that he can't reach him that quick. But I could see Tank just trying to work the body a little bit, getting his body shots here and there, trying to wear it down. That way, if it goes to the later rounds, like how you predicted, where he could get his knockout, where I can see him just kind of slowing down, kind of tired out, kind of, in a match. Don't get me wrong. I think I'm going to be the only one that's saying that. I think both of them get knocked down in this match.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, but if there's a bet somewhere out there in the world, I'll take that bet where both guys get knocked down. It's just this one's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be exciting, and we're gonna be here. We're gonna be in my crib, right, watching this fight, right?
Yeah.
So this one's going to be a good one. I think Tank is going to win this one. I honestly do believe Tank is going to. To me, I think Ryan Garcia is a tad bit overrated. That's just my personal opinion. I said that. I kept saying it. He's just a tad bit overrated. I think his lack of defense, in my eyes, what I've seen his matches, I think is what kills him. And I think in a match like this, where they finally get to match up talent per talent, I think Tank takes this one, and wins by via knockout.
Yeah, I agree, man. Because Tank hardly has any weaknesses in his game that I've seen.
Yeah,
other than the fact that he could probably, in past fights he might have gotten a little over aggressive, but he doesn't do that very often. He's a very patient fighter.
I don't think I remember. I can't even remember the last time I seen him overly aggressive.
Yeah, me neither. But
I
had to be one of the fights.
Yeah, and I do believe though that both of them will come out swinging a little bit, probably in the first 2 rounds, and then somebody will settle down.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I think both guys are gonna taste each other's power at some point in this fight, and both might go down. So it's probably gonna be a very exciting fight, man. I look forward to it.
Definitely. The Jose is on in the comments says I agree that Tank Davis will methodically and strategically beat Ryan Garcia. Ryan's strength is his speed, but here's the question: will the winner of this fight then be boxing biggest star or next biggest star? Whoever wins this one. Ricky, what do you think?
I don't think they'll be boxing's top biggest star, but they're definitely gonna be up there. And this is gonna probably put, this is a kind of fight that's gonna put boxing a little bit more in the mainstream again, where people are gonna be excited to go watch the fights. They're seeing 2 young guys in their primes, undefeated. These are the kind of fights that we've been wanting to see in boxing. So I definitely do think that whoever wins this fight, is gonna probably cross over and become a big star. I'm not saying the biggest star in boxing, but definitely one of the biggest stars. I can see it.
I agree on that one too. I don't think it's going to be hard right now because what's the next biggest star? Like how many more years do we have of Canelo Alvarez? 3, 4?
I say 3. I say about 3. Yeah.
So you're talking about.
But he's still a young. It's funny because he's still a young man.
He is.
In boxing though, but he's been fighting since what, 15 years old? Yeah, he's like 32 years old now.
In boxing age, he's like almost cracking 50.
Right. That's the thing I've always noticed about fighters who start very early. Like, once they hit their 30s, that's when they start to slow down. They start to get hit more or get knocked out, whatever. The decline starts there. But I say about 3 years of Canelo. But go ahead.
Well, technically, think of when was the last time Canelo actually got hit, other than the Triple G fight. Like, it's been a while since we've seen Canelo kind of really.
Well, I mean, Bivol beat the shit out of him.
Oh, well, Bivol did beat the shit out of him. I forgot about Bivol. Bivol, you're right about Bivol. But, outside of those two, like, Canelo really didn't take that much of a beating in most of his career.
Right.
Outside of those 2 matches. So maybe a mid 45-year-old. How about that one? Mid 40 type of guy in boxing.
You think he goes to 40? I mean, he's looking pretty interested in golf right about now, isn't he?
He really is. But you're right. 2-3 years does sound about right for Canelo Alvarez left in his boxing. So you probably got like 5 to 6 more matches left for Canelo Alvarez, fighting that we're going to see in his tail end of his career. But as for Jose's question, it's hard. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I really don't think. Well,
here's the thing. This fight is drumming up a lot of interest.
It is.
So the fight itself is already a big fight that you can almost expect a lot of celebrities are going to turn up at this fight live.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, one of these guys, whoever wins, it's definitely going to be a bigger name.
I think for the quote unquote the Mexican, the Hispanic outcome, right? If Ryan Garcia wins, obviously the dude's 24, so you're going to have 10 plus years of this reign, while Tank Davis was 27, 28. You have like a 5, 6, 7 year window of him being in his actual prime of boxing and stuff. But I don't know. And I think this is the same cycle question that we have every single year once somebody in boxing leaves. Once Floyd Mayweather, left, there was already somebody there. I don't see that yet. Somebody yet with Canelo once he leaves. I don't see it yet. I don't think it will be this match. If it's the most outstanding, crazy match, then yes. Whoever comes out the winner, yes. But as of right now, as of April 18th at 9:13 at night,
Canelo's
whoever
still that
wins
guy.
this match, I don't think they'll be the next biggest star. I don't see it.
Canelo's still that guy for you, right?
Canelo is, but I have to see more from these up and coming boxers. I think Canelo is until we don't see it anymore. And I hope we don't see his career on a downfall like most of these wrestlers who think they still have it, but yet have a downfall after that. Like
Speaking
I hope
speaking
not.
of Canelo, there is some doubt about his fight in September. We know that he's
Yeah.
pursuing a fight with Dimitri Bivol, the rematch.
Yeah.
He wants to do 175, but Dimitri Bivol and his management say we want to come down to 168 to challenge for his belts, which makes a lot more sense to them. Being Bivol is more motivated for the belts more than the money.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that fight still happens in September? Would Canelo be willing to fight Dimitri Bivol at 168 in his weight class, putting his belts on the line?
I think if that's the opportunity that he gets, I think Canelo will. I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I think it's just an opportunity for a guy that I guess I don't want to say embarrassed Canelo,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
But gave him a clinic of or gave him that humbling that Canelo kind of needed, because when he went up, he went straight up for the championship, and it's just kind of and then we're just kind of come on, Canelo now, right? Like, and
Right.
he just gave him a humbling. He gave him
Yeah.
a real good humbling. And I think that's what kind of Canelo needed, but I think he will. I think him kind of finding in that's kind of Canelo's weight class right
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see him where it's like, okay, I went up to use you. I went for yours. Now you're coming down to mine. I'm gonna show you how it really is. And
Right.
I kind of feel that Mexican pride will get to him for that fight to happen in September.
Right.
Even though we kind of really want to see Canelo versus what's the guy that beat Caleb Plant?
Benavidez.
Benavidez. I
Yeah.
think that one should be the one in September before the Bivol one. But
I think he should do that fight.
I
Over
100%.
the rematch, because if I'm being honest, another even Dimitri Bivol at 168, I think I still have Bivol winning that fight. I still have Bivol winning that fight. At least
Yeah,
against
man,
a
I
guy,
do too, man.
at least a guy against a guy like Benavidez, who he hasn't fought yet. I think he might have a better chance of winning that fight. Than a rematch against Dimitri Bivol, because the first fight, Dimitri Bivol did show that he was a much better fighter. He was very patient. He didn't fall for any of Canelo's traps, and he was just the footwork and the combinations that he threw. I mean, he just looked perfect in that.
Canelo looked
And,
slow, like him being that bulky. Like it was weird seeing him in that size.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It was
and a
definitely
guy
not his
like
natural weight. It's not definitely not in his natural weight class.
no, and I think if Bivol does come down to that, I mean, what does Bivol really lose coming down to that weight?
None.
Really, absolutely, kind of nothing. Body
I
fat,
think nothing.
maybe a little muscle mass, but I mean, he still look bigger than Canelo at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Your brother goes. Jose says this fight is bigger than any of Canelo's since Mayweather. I don't know, man. That Triple G one, the first one, I think that got all the hype in the world. I think yeah, no. He
What
also
fight
said
is
no
what
doubt
fight is he
whoever wins this.
what fight is he talking about? Garcia and Davis, or a
I
Benavidez
think
Canelo
Garcia
fight?
and Davis.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the one that he's talking about. He said no doubt whoever wins this one is boxing new star, and then Canelo will need to fight and beat Benavidez.
I have to agree with my
keep
brother
his
there, man.
mantle.
I have to agree with him though. This is a bigger fight. This is
Definitely.
one of the biggest fights since, because Canelo, ever since the Mayweather fight, who can you think of that he's a big name that he's fought? We know the Triple G fight, that trilogy was competitive. At least the first two fights were.
Yeah, definitely.
But who can you think of like that was obviously, a Canelo fight was a fight. It was a big fight to watch, right? But as far as an opponent, who since Floyd Mayweather was a huge opponent for him that you could probably think of?
Oh, I have to look back. I can't even remember.
Mhm.
I'm sticking with Triple G.
Probably, yeah.
I think it's Triple G simply because with the Mayweather fight, and I think we can all agree on this. And I mean, a lot of people will think about this, will say that it's more of an excuse for Canelo than anything. But we all knew that that fight between him and Canelo Alvarez was Mayweather got him at the right time when he was just ripe and his
Oh,
name
yeah.
was up and coming. And the Mexicans
May-
knew who he was.
Mayweather
Right.
was a master at that, man.
Yeah, and I think if he would have given Canelo another year, I think this fight would have been completely different, right, between him and Mayweather. But you're right, he was a master at that. So he got Canelo at the right time, where it's the man is finally on the big stage. He gets to see the big lights and see how it is. But it
Mhm.
also what he did was give Canelo Alvarez the torch. Like Mayweather also knew that this guy is going to be the next guy to keep boxing going for the next 7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
And that's what he did in my eyes. That's why he gave him that fight, simply because he was passing the torch from like, I was the main guy. I know you're gonna be the next main guy. Let me show you how it feels. Let me show you how it is. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you this hell, but you're gonna be running this show for the next 8 to 10 years. So here's the torch. I think that's why he did that in my
Right.
eyes.
That's probably the
I'm still trying to look. Man, he's 32. Shoot. Man,
I would
think
say
he
that was the second reason, other than the W in his record. His foot, knowing Mayweather.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I'm trying to look at the fights, but I mean, you're right. I mean, Amir Khan, maybe is that something?
Amir Khan, well, yeah, Amir Khan was good, but
Miguel Cotto.
but that was kind of past his prime, Miguel Cotto, wasn't he?
It was. Let me see. Yeah, man. I don't think. I mean, the biggest dud we already know is Cesar Chavez Jr. We all know that one was a huge dud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's Triple G. I think as I'm looking at these matches, I mean, I'm looking at them like, yeah, it's definitely Triple G. I think Triple G was after Mayweather was his biggest fight.
Yeah, and probably
So-
his biggest stiffest test.
Yeah. So, whew. All right, Ricky. Last question: who's a better host, me or your brother?
Tough. This is a tough one.
That's
Look,
the
man.
toughest question of the
I'm
night.
not gonna answer that question. I think both you guys are great. You guys are fun. Both you guys are fun to do a show with. So I'll leave that answer in the air.
No, it's cool. It felt good doing a show with you, man. I appreciate you giving me the mantle to hold on. I thank Jose for giving me the opportunity to host the show with you, and this was fun. Hopefully, I get to do it again. Maybe next time with Jose on here. That way we call talk. Obviously, we're going to see each other for the weekend for the fight, which is going to be here. Everybody's invited. Whoever wants to come to the fight on Saturday here at my house, just to DM me for the address. But this was fun. This was a great show. Jose said it himself. This was a great show, and I do agree. I hope. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. John, Jose, CP, everybody that commented on the section. Guys, make sure you watch the main event every Tuesday around this time, 8, 9 o'clock at night, where you guys get the best of all the wrestling, WWE, AEW. You guys talk about UFC, even though it was a slow UFC weekend. But I know that's going to be coming up soon in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, not exactly. We did. I will quickly mention that Max Holloway, the fight that he had against Arnold Allen was a banger of a fight, really good. And congrats to Max Holloway. He's still one of the best in that division. Right there, even though Volkanovski is still the king of that division, but Max Holloway still proven that he's still one of the greats in the UFC and in that featherweight division. So great showing for Max Holloway. Congrats.
There you go, and you get to hear and watch a lot more of that when on the main event every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Thank you guys for having me on, Ricky. I appreciate you. Jose, thank you. Hopefully you guys will be here next week. Make sure you guys follow all the Star 6 Media social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, where all our shows go live too as well. Hit the little bell to get notified when the shows are live, like the main event, the JCA Sports Podcast, and all the other shows that we have available under the Star 6 Media brand. Ricky, this was fun, man. Hopefully we get to do this again sometime.
I'm pretty sure we will.
I'm pretty sure we will, right? And
I'm pretty sure we will.
I will see you on Saturday, right? You're coming Saturday, right?
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna miss that fight. We'll grab some beers. We'll probably play a certain game. Have a great time, man. We'll have everybody there.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. So we will see you guys next week. I will see you guys tomorrow on the JCA Sports Podcast. Ricky, thank you. Everybody else, thank you very much. And we'll see you next week, guys. Take it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the